Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show, and today we're going to talk about pandemic. I'm going to leave you with a couple terms right off the bat. Look at Pandemic 1 and Pandemic 2. Now there's a game out there that is an electronic game. It's called Pandemic. And I was talking to my son about it earlier today. I was thinking it's interesting that they actually made a game and they called it Pandemic. So he went on and explained to me the way the game works is you got two opposing sides that are, one is creating the pandemics and the other one is trying to stop it. Now the interesting thing about this game is the ones that make the pandemics and the ones that stop it, when they stop that specific pandemic, then the players continue to make a more worse pandemic. Pandemic 2. This corona thing is all but done. It's all but done. You know, people are waking up to it. They're getting tired of wearing these stupid masks that don't do jack diddly. They're tired of wearing these rubbers on their hands, which also does jack diddly. I saw something really retarded the other day. I saw a guy taking the alcohol and cleaning his latex gloves. I'm thinking to myself, you idiot. The latex is there so that you are protected, so that it doesn't make contact with the skin. And now you're putting an alcohol content to it, which will break down the latex material so that now it has some porosity to it, which will allow whatever you touch to now go through. I'm not sure who comes up with these brain damage ideas. I really don't know. But holy jumping. It's amazing the level of stupidity today. It's just mind-stunningly amazing. But this pandemic is all but done. Doctors all over the world are telling you that there's no difference between this and the flu. I remember somebody saying 14 weeks ago that this was all fake. I wonder who said that. Now, Pandemic 2 is around the corner. Now again, I said speculatively the other day about what I think is going to happen. By fall, Pandemic 2 is going to hit. But they're already preparing for famine. Now this is the bullshit that they're telling everybody. Because we don't have these fast food chain stores going, they're burying now all this food underground. They're slaughtering cows, they're slaughtering bulls, they're slaughtering, livestock of all kinds. They're dumping milk in the ground. This is an F-tard mentality. Okay, with nobody working right now, and with the government giving the carrot out, what I call the carrot, the little handout is nothing but a carrot to suck you in. Nobody has any money. Nobody has any real money because nobody's really working. So why didn't they take that food, instead of burying it, reduce the volume of food and distribute it across Canada? Because we have some pretty poor areas in this country. Some of them can surpass some of the ghettos in America. That's how poor some of these places are. So why wasn't the food distributed to those areas at a very reduced rate? It would have made money. Wouldn't have made as much money, but it would have made money. How about going up to the reserves up north? Or how about going into the ghettos in all the big cities, How about going to all the food banks across the country, giving food away, giving them the food to give to that canned soy shit that they're giving away. They could actually give away some real meat and real potato. This is, again, poor management skills. Where are the leaders? Where are the parliamentarians here? Where are the congressmen and the House of Representatives? Where are these people? Do they hate their respective citizens to such a degree? The parliamentarians hate Canadians that much. Do they just loathe the flag? Do they loathe this country? Why aren't they considering these options? The government's already willing to subsidize this and subsidize that. They want to give me money to borrow, so that because of the hardship we've gone through, a loan, $40,000 loan, that if I pay it in 3 years, they'll forgive $10,000. They're willing to give out all this money, and yet when it comes to something that we already have ready and available to give to everybody, food and food sources, instead of even giving it to the major main supermarkets across the country at a super reduced rate, that would just increase their profit margins, so there at least be some kind of revenue going back. But no, 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 no. And like I said, I have no confidence in our government. I don't. None. I have absolutely no confidence in the American government either. I mean, I'll tell you straight out. I think this is abhorrent, what I'm seeing. There are poor people in North America, and the image and the hallucination that, we're land of milk and honey and opportunity and blah, blah, blah. People are poor in Canada and America. We have a lot of poor in these countries. And something like this could have been a real good benefit, but instead, they discarded the food, they buried it, they dumped it, whatever. Now, Silly Billy, Billy Gates there, and him and his vaccinations and his planecidal assault on the planet. He now has made contact with those of us in Canada with Cargill and PETA to eliminate growing livestock. So they want to take away our meat supply. Like I said, they're getting ready for pandemic 2. I figured by the fall would be the best time to do it, because this time now, this will be a new and improved pandemic. You won't even need the media that much with the hysteria and pandemonium that they keep on perpetuating. Oh, we're going to die. Oh, my God, corona. Now, I showed some people today a picture of the coronavirus and the COVID-19. Do an image search. I like Yahoo better than Google, because Google just sucks when it comes to images. But do a Yahoo search. Type in www.yahoo.either.ca.com or wherever country you're living in. And type in the coronavirus. And then click on the image. And highlight and paste the image. Put it on a document somewhere. And then go back to that same image search and type in COVID-19. And then, again, open it up and then download it and do a comparison. I'll tell you what the thing looks like to me. It looks to me like a transceiver, a quantum dot loaded with antenna. This is the coronavirus, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a quantum dot loaded with antenna to be able to receive a bandwidth of certain frequencies to activate. Now, when I looked at the COVID-19, I was really surprised, because the COVID-19 also looks like heavy-duty antenna coding a quantum dot. But there was a slight difference in the slight creation or modification that was made here. These antennae are a lot thicker, and the coating around is a lot denser. So like I said, when I looked at this initially, I said right off the bat, this was all nanotechnology, nanobiology. Nothing's convinced me otherwise. And when you look at this, and you look at these images, and you start paying attention, you'll see that the coronavirus and COVID-19 are not the same. They don't even look the same. Now, when you think about Pandemonium 2, are they now releasing this COVID-19 so that by the time the fall gets here, it will be now good and embedded, and now it may actually take out people? Is that a possibility? See, I looked at this whole thing as an exercise that the governments have put out there. So when they call for a pandemic, they can see how many people are going to respond and how many people are going to be reluctant, and so forth and so on. And now that they've already got this image in everybody's head that, oh, you're going to die, oh, the next virus coming in, we're all going to die, oh, man, we're going to just die. The next one will have had time to incubate and mutate if they haven't already done the modifications in the lab. And they're going to release that one, and that one is probably going to really be the killer. Saskatchewan is going to open up next week. I believe Texas is going to open up next week, and Saskatchewan is going to do it in a sequence of some kind. And if there's no outbreak, no breakdown, they're going to continue running the show. I think Ontario needs to wake up on that. I think the Parliament also needs to wake up on that. So, it's passing. This is passing. The coronavirus is pretty much already passing. It got you already hooked up on COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19. When you take a look at that, and you look at these images and you see the distinction, you got to question yourself, just by the way they look even, are they one and the same? Or is one a mutation of the other one? You know what I mean? Is it a mutation? Because like I said, we really don't know, what is the up and down on this thing. They have bamboozled everybody, like I said, for 14 weeks. Doctors are coming out now 10 and 12 weeks later saying unequivocally that this is fraudulent, like the California doctor. Comparing LA and some of the other cities, and he's saying that you would be, to die in those areas, it would be a 0.02%, for anybody to die. And if you're looking at New York, their numbers were even smaller. And then we look at the numbers in Europe of those who didn't go into lockdown. Numbers are infinitesimally small as well. I mean, like I said, this whole thing was bullshit. This was a highway robbery scheme. They stole, like I said, $3.3 trillion out of the stock market. This was paying the interest of some of the people's investments in the banks. Wiped out. Totally wiped out. It's a game. It was a game. This was a test. Test to see how you would respond, test to see what you would do. Would you listen? If they told you to take a long walk up a short dock, would you do that? Would you run into the whatever? Like I said, we're heading for pandemic 2. Now, I'm going to issue you guys some homework. Go look at Pandemic 1 and Pandemic 2. Go look these terms up. See what you find. And observe them if they're in a movie or in a game station or some kind of electronic game. Look into these things. If it's in a comic book, read the comic. Because in these forums, they do tell it all. And if you're smart enough to read what's there, if you're smart enough to understand that sometimes they'll depict certain things right in front of you, right under your nose. You just gotta look. You just gotta look, Like I said, the food is going to be the big one. See, if we can't get the right protein in our body, not just crap like spirulina or soy or rice or bean or hemp or all, that's all garbage crap. Wouldn't even feed that to a pig, much less a person. Protein ratios of those products are only about 30 to 35% on a BB rating. It means you only absorb 35% of whatever it is you're taking. Now, if you're using any kind of meat product, egg product, dairy product, the protein content is in the 90s for the 92, 93 for the BB rating. That's what you're looking for. These guys don't care about you. Like I said, they're not interested, and they're going to create a famine. This is why, I told everybody to start your indoor operation, because we don't know how much time, they may slip something else in, and, now you're tied down. You won't even be able to go grocery shopping. Next time around, you won't be able to go grocery shopping. You're going to have to sneak to the grocery store, or you're going to have to call them, and they're going to bring it to your door. They are manipulating the game. You can't win it. The deck's stacked against you. You can only oppose what you can oppose and hold your ground. Hold your ground. The principles, like I said, on these are games. And you have to think, why are they putting these games putting these things in the game? Because they're letting everybody know. They're getting kids conditioned and programmed to this. The ones they don't kill. Okay, just to show you how the laws have changed. Somebody's saying, well, it's going to go back. Is it? I would argue that it's not going back, but it's going to continue to go forward. Okay, there was a young fella, okay, young kid, and he was playing basketball at a park or a gym. Nobody was there. There was nobody around, you know. And the police stopped this child and gave him a stern warning and then wrote him a fine. A fine. For nothing. He's just shooting some basketball in a park so they could get out of the house. Because he was told that he was, you know, there was a evil pandemic going on. He didn't buy into it either. So, you know, here we are. Bill FIPA 188 seems like it's already going. And that bill wasn't even read properly. No parliament to read. There was nobody there to take a vote or debate. They just read it, voted on it, and it was done. Talk about fast track. Boom. Like I said, Bill Gates is trying. I mean, Bill Gates has got a content for mankind. I mean, he's got to have a total content. If he can't take you out with the vaccines, he's going to take you out with the food supply. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing, amazing what we're seeing. You know, it's amazing what we're seeing. We are, like I said, we need to pay attention to the media in the sense that, one, don't believe them. I don't believe anything coming from the major networks as far as the radio is concerned. I don't pay attention. In fact, you know, they're not worth listening to. They don't have anything of any value. They have no. It's all fake. All fake. You know. Now, you know, there's another video there. Fake, fake, fake. The talk is all being fake. Doctors have come out and called this thing a fraud. You know, a total fraud. You know, they were talking about, again, eradicating the God gene in people. I think what it did, it didn't work. I think what it did, it highly emphasized people to believe more. Imagine these guys going into your head because they see a signaling response mechanism and they decide to laser it shut so you can no longer think or feel or whatever. Imagine that. Imagine that. You know, they have screwed up. They screwed up. But doesn't mean they're going to stop. Okay, the one thing about it all, this is all fake. This is being stepped on, stopped, but they're not going to ever stop releasing a real pathology on you. This is going to be the game. This battle will never stop. Vaccine, anti-vaccines, pro-vaccine. That's never going to stop until people get educated. And that's been going on since the mid-1980s, the whole vaccination program. So we are in a realm where, you know, credibility is going to stand right out. And the fact that, you know, now we're hearing it from doctors all across the world saying that this is fake, fraudulent, nothing's really happening. You know, they just basically, people will see it. People will have to see it. You know, but it's all a fakery. You know, it's all total fakery. And the more you see it, the more you'll understand how they're trying to, again, okay, they lost in this experiment, they're already working on the next one. You know, they're already working on the next one. This is the social agenda too. You know, everybody's going to stay together. You're going to be at the top of your, you know, address, and your address is going to be subdued by the government. This is again coming down the pipe. We need to understand that we start seeing the fake news active. Okay, and we start seeing them showing us on television how they're doing the humane thing by getting rid of all the cows and the milk and anything that a meat eater would eat. You know, if you're in the situation where you're taken in, you know, you need to again, you'll have to take your stand. You're going to have to choose your battles. But this has all been fake, and it's been a plan to get people situated and organized so when they hit you with the real one, you'll either not listen to anything at all, or you'll just, again, continue to go freely. You know, it's amazing. It's just amazing, you know. Looking at, like I said, that game Pandemonium and how how the game is played. That's what's going on now. And you know what's interesting? The scenario of today has not changed for 50 years. 50 years ago, we were fighting the vaccination program. We were saying we don't want vaccines, we don't want them for our kids, blah, blah, blah. And now today, it's a possibility, and a strong one, you know, that everything is transitioned. Transitioning to whatever, you know, to the game that they want you to play. They're going to have everybody trained so that if something really does happen, it'll either reject it completely and they won't believe anything, or they'll capitulate because they've already been trained to wear your mask, stand in line. I mean, seriously, I mean, what does standing in line accomplish? I never got that concept at all. Social distancing. You go to any grocery store, any market, any place, you got to get supplies that you can walk into. You know, what are the chances of somebody really getting sick, especially from a fake pandemic? You know, just total fake. I'm not saying the flu or the flu-like symptoms don't exist. I do acknowledge that this was some kind of a flu with an added genetic biomarker in it, so that they can use the frequencies to activate these things. But when we're looking at, you know, all the concepts, I mean, none of it made sense. Social distancing, wow. Like I said, I don't have any confidence in our government. I have no confidence, zero. Nothing. It's hard. It's really hard for me to even listen to them on the television when they start talking and they get caught up in all this drama, and you know, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Oh, we got everything under control here. We got, you know, the best doctors in the world, and they're going here and they're going there. It's like, really? Another game. Another total game. Like I said, pandemonium. No, sorry, Pandemic 2. Pandemic 2. If you can find the game, it might be on IMDb. You might find it, you know, someplace where maybe it's a YouTube or somebody's playing the game. But look at that. Look at Pandemic 1 and Pandemic 2. And I think that's how we need to start calling and addressing this stuff. Pandemic 1, Pandemic 2. Because pandemics, you know, they come and go. But this one here, if it does go, they'll bring it back, because of the susceptibility that people will have at a close range, being exposed to those frequencies. Like I said, we're having brain issues, we're having bleeding issues, we're having reproductive issues, we're having respiratory issues. Whatever is going on, a lot of it can be attributed to these frequencies that they violated us with. When we see the thing about Pandemic 1 and Pandemic 2, like I said, you might want to start doing things now and stockpiling things now, so that when the time comes and if they take away all the food, at least you'll be able to have something to be able to take care of those, you know, in the household. You know, grow things like cannabis. If you can grow cocoa and tobacco and the coffee bean, you can get that growing. I would encourage you to do that, because these things will be worth more than money. I mean, it wouldn't take much to be worth more than money, especially right now with the price of oil being where it's at, $12 a barrel or whatever. And the petrodollar is based on the petro, you know, Canadian petro and American petro. It seems to me that this whole concept of I guess money and the pandemic and everything else, it has, what's it done? They shut everything down for nothing. Like I said, it's all fake. It's totally fake. Pandemic 2, pay attention. Food supply is already being, again, propagated to be thrown away instead of giving it to the general population in this country. They're dumping everything. Same in the States, same probably in Europe as well. There's a video on here where a guy from Texas is talking exactly about how they are dumping stuff, they're killing everything and wiping everything out. They're blaming that the restaurants don't have enough of the there's not enough of them open to be supplied with these things. And again, probably a lot of these restaurants and things are probably transitioned to something else. So, like I said, we are in the game of games right now. Somebody sent me something the other day, and I thought, what a perspective. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, nor am I saying it's thus saith the Lord or anything like that. I'm not saying that either. But biblically it says that when Jesus comes back, he'll come back after the last trump. What if that was referring not to a trumpet, but to the president that is here right now? What if that was referring to that? That he comes after the last trump. Just a concept. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's accurate at all. I'm not saying it's a prophetic utterance or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing something out there that, when somebody said that to me, I thought, how interesting. I never would have made that connection, but I thought, wow, that is interesting. What if Jesus is coming back after this trump? I mean, I don't know. Don't know. I just, I'm sharing this with you, to get you to think outside the box so that you're not getting caught up in religiosity and philosophical ideologies that have absolutely nothing with biblical truths. I mean, and I always encourage all of you to read your New Testaments, read your Bibles, read what Jesus had to say. Don't let anybody get in the way of that. Just read, understand what you can, talk to God to open your heart and your eyes so that you can see what he's saying. This is what I've been encouraging. I've got a lot of people who have been telling me actually that they started reading their Bibles. They wanted to see, some of them for the first time, what it had to say, and others, basically kind of refreshing them on the text and the truth of the text. It's interesting. Like I said, Pandemic 2 is up and running. By the time I'm thinking by fall, and again, I could be wrong, but I'm thinking by fall something else will come along and screw everybody over. Oh, we had a relapse. Oh, oh man. Yeah, I don't know if people the second time around are gonna capitulate. They might say forget it. But anyway. All right, on my site, there's all kinds of data and information. For those of you who've been suffering from nano poisoning, you can get it on the augmentedforce.site.com. And you go down to the columns there, go to the left, and you'll see a link saying recipe for YouTube. Open it up. There's a anti-nano bucket and a nano solutions. Download, access this information, and again, learn what you can, share it with everybody, and apply the things that are written down. You may find that some of this will actually subside, some of the protocols. Okay, make a bucket if you can, make a triangle. Okay, there are other guys on my network as well that are doing stuff. You got Aromac, you got Brian 396. Help them any way you can. If you can't help them, don't worry about it. Share their information, spread it around, spread everybody's information around so that everybody can now, get caught up or be on board. And those that don't want to hear it, that's fine. That's easy. But those that do want to hear it, encourage them as much as you can. Alrighty, I'm going to call an early one tonight because I had so many things I had to do, and I didn't really get a chance to do some of the digging I wanted to do tonight, but I wanted to get something going so that you can think of Pandemic 1, Pandemic 2, go access through a whatever medium you got the game, read up on it, see what it is, see what is going on, and that game may actually reflect what is happening right here, right now. All right, until the next segment, to your health. See you then. Take care.